Hey, what's going on, everybody? Anybody out there? What's news? Hello, hello. Okay, got three people watching. Post some comments. Come on, man. Robert Goodman, what's on? What's on board for you, brother? How you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. Where you been? Stupid fast truck. How's it going? Chovios Adventures. How's it going, man? You've been a loyal viewer. It's nice to have you on board here on the live stream. So tonight I want to talk about some of the things I've done recently. I've had the car to the track. We've got the Killer Chiller on it. It seems to be working really good. Keith Spicer in the house, new subscriber. Thanks for coming on board, bud. It's always nice to have new subscribers here. And Robert Goodman, all's good. Things are good right now. My car's running good, and I'm able to do the things that I want to do with it. So yeah, like I was saying, I've had the car at the track. I had some success with it. I haven't done any drag racing or anything like that in a very long time. Jeff Hager is in the house. How's it going, Jeff? Nice to have you here. Um, it's been 25 years since I've been at the track, and I think the last time I was there was 1991, and it's been a long time. So that video is up. I hope you guys had a chance to view it, and I want to talk about that tonight. Jovius Adventure says, do you think you're going to regret not getting the sleep motor later on? That's a very good question. That might happen. It's relatively easy to get 800 horsepower. It's easy to get 1,000 horsepower. I might reach that threshold at some point and regret that, but I'm not there yet. I still got a lot to do. Speed Addict 731, Ken is in the house. How's it going, Ken? Nice to have you here. Miles Hiles, what's happening, Miles? How you doing? White Horse is in the house also. Ask me a question there. The Killer Chiller looks pretty cool. I don't know that existed until I showed it. Yeah. Actually, I found out about the Killer Chiller from Jeff Hager. He's posting here. He's on the live stream. And I learned from him, and it sounded like a great idea because I'm down here in Florida. I wanted, to cool down my IATs, and the Killer Chiller definitely did that. And I want to talk about that tonight. Mike Hall asked me, Al, I didn't have any way to contact you when I was in Naples. Oh, that's too bad, Mike. Naples is like not even an hour away. But maybe next time, just flag me when you're in town. Just flag me, and we'll get together and we'll do something. Robert Goodman says I did pretty good, better than most. Probably track times, right, Robert? I thought I did pretty good. Most of the runs that I did that night, my tire pressures were too high. I was playing it safe because I hadn't done this in a really long time. So I was on high tire pressures, and as I started to lower the tire pressures, the car started to go faster, and the mile an hour started to pick up. So I'm expecting some better times the next time I go out, and I want to talk to you guys tonight about how I should prepare for that. Because I'm open to ideas. I'm not one of those guys who thinks he knows everything. I've got a lot of experience with these kinds of things, but by no means am I a know-it-all. I learn things from you guys. I'm surrounded by a lot of good people, so it's very helpful to talk about this stuff. Donald Brown is in the house. How's it going, Donald? Nice to have you in here. Jeff Hager tells me that his race day got rained out. That's too bad, Jeff. That happened to me a couple of weeks ago, so I know how that is, man. You get all geared up and you're ready to go out, and it rains, so that really sucks. But you'll be out next time, and we'll catch up with you on Instagram. And so Jeff Hager is telling me 22 psi. Well, that was my best times. Dougie was with me, Dougie from 5 Bar, and at one point he went around my car and he checked the tire pressures, found that they were above 30 psi. So most of the previous runs I had done were at 30 psi, and I ran 7, 10 in the 8 on 30 psi. He loaded them down to 20, 23 and a half, I think, and the car ran faster. I went a 708. So as I lowered the tire pressures, the car started to go faster. Yeah, Ken, Speed Addict. I guess I did pretty good. Thanks for the compliment, but I personally don't think I did great. I think the car's capable of more. Um, there may be a limit to what I can do with this Whipple tune. Uh, for you guys who are new to following me here, I'm running the Whipple Stage One tune, and that's like a stock tune. It was a warranted kit, so there isn't a lot of timing in it, especially down low. It doesn't hit very hard down low. In fact, I want to show you guys something. I have something right here when talking about the Whipple. This is the dyno chart that was given to me by Steve. If I don't know if this is really viewable for you guys, but look at the torque curve. It actually dips, and it doesn't really develop a lot of torque. I mean, from the looks of this, it made 486 pound-feet of torque, and that didn't come until above 6,000 RPM. Below that, it's just like really soft. It just doesn't really have a very strong torque curve, and that's hurting me at the track. But I'm not launching a car all that good. If I can get all of that to the track, I should be able to dip into the sixes at the eighth mile. And I'm hoping that once I do that and I can extract all I can out of the car, I'm going to go for some custom tuning. So what do we got here? Ken says I run 17 to 18. Ken, I don't really know what that means. Explain that to me. All right, wait a second. You guys, let me just, okay. Michael is talking to Ken. Speed Addict has got ET Streets on his car. That's right, guys. I got ET Streets on my car. I got 305 4517s on my car, the Mickey Thompson ET Streets. I believe, Ken, you're running the same tire. Underfit Coyote. Hey, friend, what's happening, man? Nice to have you in the house. Nice to have you here. Noah and Eli's Corner. Nice to have you here, bud. Haven't seen you in a while. We love your channel. Thanks a lot, man. You aim to please. So let me see. I'm having a hard time keeping up here. Okay, so yes, Ken, you had that experience with your other car, your other S550 that you had. I believe that was a 17 with the Roush kit, with the Roush tune. You had to go to custom tuning to really get some good times out of the car. And I'm kind of in the same place with this Whipple tune because it's very soft. There's a lot on the table. And I'm eventually going to get around to that after the holidays, like after Christmas into January, maybe early February. I'm going to get some custom tuning on it and trying to make a little bit more power with the Stage One hardware. I'm expecting a pretty good jump in torque when doing that. I'm gone in 60. Desmond, what's happening, brother? Nice to have you here. And Kaiser 50 is here. What's your question here? Yeah, Kaiser. I have hardly any experience when it comes to drag racing. In 1991, it was a long time ago, more than 25 years. I actually went to the drag strip 4 times with a Fox body that I built back then, and it was a race car. It was a car that was trailered to the track. I made a lot of power back then. We didn't even have good hardware for the Fox bodies back then. For Ford 302 engines. I had the first cylinder head that was ever made, the first aluminum cylinder head that was made, for a 302, 351 Winds were all ported and hogged out. I managed to make 600 horsepower in a 408, and I drove that car down the quarter mile at 1060s at 128 miles an hour. I did that on 4 different occasions, and that was it. That was my extent of drag racing. But now I'm back at it with this S550, and I'm not quite that fast, but this car is just so stable and comfortable. It's nothing like driving a 600 horse Fox body. Tracy Bassler is in the house. How's it going, Tracy? PSI. Were you saying how much PSI I should run? Oh, I see, Ken, 17 to 18 PSI in the tire pressure. Yeah, that's about right. I think the next time I go out on my first pass, I'm going to set it to 20. I'm going to go out, make a burnout, go down the track, come around and check the tire pressures. And at that point, I'm going to drop them down below 20 and start to make some runs. But I'm going to pay far more attention to tire pressures the next time out. Lenny is in the house. How's it going, man? Nice to have you in the house here. So what else we got? I'm having a hard time keeping track because I'm not much of a drag racer, and honestly, I'm not much of a live stream guy. But let me just get back to my place because I keep losing it. So Mike J Autos and stuff is in the house. How's it going, Mike J? Mr. Tick is in the house. That's right, Mike. You are very famous for talking about the typewriter tick. Um, you know, any of you guys who follow Mike J, there was a bad storm that went through his area over the past couple of days, causing flooding and leaking. On Mike's channel, he was showing us videos of the leak and the damage in the ceiling. That really sucks. Fortunately, from the things that you told me, I think that your HOA is going to cover that, so that's good. You won't have the expense, but you know you'll have the inconvenience of it, and that's always a pain. You know, I'm never really happy when stuff like that happens. Yeah, White Horse, I red lighted. I red lighted on one of the runs. My friend Lou over there told me to leave on the yellow because I was leaving on the green. I wasn't paying much attention to trying to cut a light, so I left on the yellow and I red lighted. So. In terms of trying to be competitive at the track, it's going to take a lot of work for me to get competitive because I'm really not that very good at this. But I see you saying that the car ran great, and I think it did. I think it ran pretty good considering, you know, that I was driving the car. If I had a more experienced driver in the car and lowered the tire pressures, we probably would have went a little bit faster. And so Underfit Coyote says to Kaiser, I don't have much experience. Are you saying, friend, that you don't have experience? I'm watching your videos, and it looks like it does. It looks like you do. Certainly a hell of a lot more experience than I have. So Todd Ray is in the house. Nice to see you, Todd. You're stating that Whipple tunes are very conservative for safety. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, the Whipple tune that came with my kit, this was a tune that came with a warranted kit. So, you know, if Whipple is going to warranty the kit, they're certainly not going to give you an aggressive tune. And you know, even with all of that, I still broke a piston. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I broke a piston in my stock motor, and you know, I had to replace the motor, and it was a good thing I had the Whipple warranty because it covered a good part of that cost. So so Ken says, Ken from Speed Addict says, okay, yep, you ran the exact same times. I got the best time between 17 to 18 psi. Car did great. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to do that, Ken. I'm going to take your advice. You're a very good drag racer. I've seen your videos. I'm just going to follow your line and take your advice and do it that way. You know, because a lot of people are telling me, you know, 20 pounds, 15 pounds, somewhere in there, and I was a little nervous about that the first time out because my first experience with drag racing, I was actually out on bias ply tires, so I expected to get that feeling from the car when you drop the tire pressures, but as you know, the little bit of work that I did a couple of weeks ago, I realized with the drag radials, it's really not like that. It's a totally different feeling. So, yeah, so we're going to drop the tire pressures. I don't want to lose my place here. Okay, let me get this. Noah's and Eli's corner. Been traveling. Yeah. So where you been traveling to, bud? I used to do a lot of traveling. When I moved here, when I first moved here, I didn't actually move here permanently. I was driving back and forth to New York and doing a lot of traveling. That got to be a little bit of a nuisance. But I got my feet planted now, and I hope you're enjoying your traveling though, bud. That can be a lot of fun. So White Horse is saying PSI, probably making reference to the tire pressures. Yeah, I got to lower them. Let me see. Kaiser 50 says, yeah. Fran, you seem like a pro. You don't sound like a guy who doesn't have a lot of experience. You look like a guy who's really killing it out there on the track. I think you're doing pretty good. So Fran, you're losing. Okay, well, you learn from that, but you keep at it and you'll win more and more. So Lenny says, much better lightning. I don't know what you mean by that, bro. Todd Ray, forget the stage one. Well, Todd, you got a point. The stage one uses the stock throttle body, and that's quite restrictive for a supercharged car. You might get away with that with a turbo car, but with a supercharged car, you need a big throttle body. There's no doubt about it. But I'm moving in that direction eventually. I'm going to do a few things with the car with the stage one hardware, and I'm going to progress into stage two hardware. But you know, I'm going to get away from Whipple tuning, though. I can tell you that. That's this stage one tune is the only Whipple tune that I'm going to run. I'm going to go with custom tuning eventually. Mustang Nation, how's it going, man? Nice to have you in the house. What's going on? Brand says he didn't start drag racing till my 18, and only 6 months before that, I was 17 almost. So you've been drag racing that long? I don't know how old you are, Fran, but honestly, I watch your videos, and you look like you're really killing it out there. Very competitive. And Kaiser 50 says, Fran, your car is nice. I agree. Your car is really nice. So let me see. Yeah, this thing isn't working like it did last week, and it jumps like it did last week. All right, so let me get back. Jeff Hager, Whipple tune is definitely soft. Got another 85 horsepower in a Mustang and 95 horsepower in F-150 with custom tune, thanks to Overkill Performance. Yeah, Jeff Hager, for you guys who don't know Jeff, he's kind of on the sidelines. He's got a Whipple 2018 Mustang, a lot like mine, stage 1. He did very well with his stage 1, where I did not. And Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you got a 19 F-150 also with a Whipple, but that's a stage 2, and that's a 2.9 Whipple. So Jeff's talking about the horsepower gains that he's getting out of his Whipple cars going to custom tuning. 85 horsepower in the Mustang and 95 horsepower with the F-150, just from going custom tuning. So relating that to my car, I can expect those same kind of gains, and that'll transcend into better times at the track. Let's hope I have the luck that Jeff has, because Jeff Hager's had things go his way pretty good. Tracy Bassler says, crappy, howling is bucking, installing just okay. So guys, Tracy Bassler, he's the guy who's got a 19 Mustang GT, stage 2 Whipple. The motor broke a piston, very much like mine. And I'm going to have a video up on that car in a couple of days, so I don't want to talk too much about it. But, like I say, I'm going to hold off on talking about that, Tracy. Probably Monday or Tuesday, your video is going to be up. And in the next live stream, that's a subject that I want to talk about. Todd Ray says, everybody I know has a stage 1 and wishes they would have gone to stage 2. Well, I have to be honest with you, Todd. I can understand people saying that if they didn't break their motor. But in my case, I got the stage 1 just for the warranty, and it's a darn good thing I did, because my motor broke, and Whipple covered me for the expense, and I was able to apply that to the replacement engine. Like at that time, a lot of people were telling me, go after Ford. You have to prove that the blower caused the problem, and they might replace the engine. The thing is, I didn't want Ford's engine. If I was to do that, it would have taken me a long time to get Ford to replace the engine, and then in the end, what do I have? An engine that I don't want in the car. So I reverted to my Whipple warranty. I collected on that warranty and applied that to the engine that I wanted in the car, which is my Livernois engine. That was one of the subjects for tonight. The Livernois engine is way better than a stock engine, and that's what's in my car, and I'm really happy that I have that. So that's how I feel about the stage 1. But I could understand it, because I'm kind of down on power because I went stage 1. But I could always step up to stage 2. So let me see. Underfit says, thanks, man. Boost coming soon. That's right, Fran. I've heard from you that you're thinking about going boost. It's always a tough decision how you go about that, but everybody's got their own, way of wanting their car to run, and I'm sure you'll get your car running good. Actually, your car's running good just the way it is. NA. For you guys out there that don't know, Fran Underfit Coyote just got his 14 Mustang to crack 11s on pump gas at the quarter mile, and I think that's pretty good, to do that NA. RS3 for me. Nice to have you in the house, bud. Nice to have you here. So Eli, Noah in Eli's corner says, okay, did you see the quality difference between your two S550 Mustangs? Do you think that you have a bit more room to work in the green Mustang? Well, actually, guys, I have to say there are things about my 2015 Mustang that I like more than my 2018 Mustang. The 15 has more options in it. It's got cross traffic alerts and some other options like that I really like. It's got a Shaker Pro stereo. Those options are not in my 18. But beyond the comforts and convenience thing, the 18 has a firmer suspension than the 15. The 15 is like this cushy, floaty Mustang, which I actually kind of like. The 18 is a little firmer, more like a performance pack 15 to 17. Quality wise, I think they're about the same. I don't really see that much of a difference. A Wheeler's in the house telling me Palm Beach Dyno offers a trans brake tune for the 1080. I need good tires, but staying mode pulled, what is that? 1.560 foots with it. Wow, those are really good times. Going with the trans brake though, Wheeler, the talk about my car, the way I like to kind of make reference to my car is that it's a street car. I really am not building this car to be, a street strip car or a drag car. It's a street car that I'm building to build power in, but then I test it at the track to see what it's like and how fast it can go. And that's basically to show everybody, what you can do with your street car, what the average guy would do with their car just by, say, putting a Whipple on it, tuning it, adding a few things, doing a little suspension work, but then primarily maintaining the streetability of the car because my wife drives the car. And that kind of puts me into a narrow corridor in terms of, what I could do with it, because it always has to be a car that my wife could drive. So that's kind of the mission statement that I have when it comes to this car. But you know what? Things could change, and a trans brake is always possible, right? So I won't rule that out. Let me see, White Horse. I'm glad shows the short block that you did for the build. Talk about that. Yeah, that's one of the subjects that I wanted to talk about. I bought a Livernois engine. Okay, it was not an easy decision for me to make at the time. It was there was a lot of confusion around. The Gen 3s were, they were new. My car was relatively new. The whole car was new, and it was tough to decide what to do. Should I take my stock engine and send it out to an engine builder and have him sleeve it, or just order another engine? Whether that be a sleeved engine or get the plasma bore engine. And at first I wanted to get the sleeved engine because I thought that there was just no other option. Thinking that maybe the plasma bore was the problem. And I was given some advice from a lot of people. A guy that I met down at Stita, Tuning by James, he's been a very, very big help for me, not just back then, but all along the way, because I still talk to the guy and he helps me out with a lot of things. And I learn a lot of things from him. And Alex Flores over on the East Coast, everybody knows him, goes by YOLO. He works for Lund. He's a really good guy. I met him. He dynoed my car. He was posting on my channel, giving me advice. Some of you guys were telling me go to Livernois. Alex told me go to Livernois. I gave them a call, and they guided me. At first I wanted a sleeved engine. I told him I wanted a sleeved engine, but then when he asked me what I was going to use the car for, he very sensibly brought me to the plasma bore engine, but it was a built engine. It's got Manley H-beam rods in it. It's got ARP rod bolts and main studs. It's got a Ross piston in it that has that gold coating on it. That's a heat coating, that helps with rapid expansion and contraction with the pistons in the bores. The engines are hand built. All the clearances are right. It's just a really good motor. The thing is, it's limited to 1,000 horsepower. If you go over 1,000 horsepower to crank with that engine, it's not really rated for that. You could probably get away with that, but really over 1,000 horsepower, you should go with a sleeved engine. The thing is, I don't really intend to go over 1,000 horsepower. If I did achieve 1,000 horsepower, I would have 800 or so to the wheels. And I think personally that's enough power for me to probably put my car in the nines, well into the nines. I'd be at the track maybe having problems with them telling me to put a cage in my car, and I don't want to put a cage in my car. So I feel that this engine will suit my needs, and I could have a good time with it. If I want to build a faster car, well, that's what the 2015 was all about, to possibly build that car. But we won't get around to that until next year at some time. So Underfit Coyote with the super chat. Thank you for very much there, bud. I really appreciate that. Guys, if you haven't followed Fran over at Underfit Coyote, he's got a really good channel. He's working with his 2014 Mustang. Fran had a 2018 Mustang. He had the same, similar problems that a lot of other people had. He was had the car at the track, and the car was running pretty good, but he developed cylinder scoring. He developed a really bad typewriter tick. Brought the car back. Had problems with Ford. But had problems even with the transmission, the 10R80. And if I'm not mistaken, Fran, I think you did a buyback with that car, right? They took the car back, and then you went and got the 14. And Fran is really killing it with the 14. I'm very impressed what he's been able to do with that car. Like I mentioned earlier, the car is in the 11s now, and Fran's talking about going boost. So if you want to follow him and get involved with what he's doing, he's a really cool guy. I think you're going to enjoy his channel. Let me see. RS3 for me says, got some new shoes for the car, Cup 2s. Really, those are good tires there, RS3 for me. I think you're going to enjoy those. I get the thumbs up from Lenny. Thanks a lot. CJ Colvin is in the house. How's it going, CJ? You're a long-time follower of me here on the channel, and I really appreciate you being here, so thank you very much. Let's hope Ford puts the new 7.3 Godzilla in the Ford Raptor. Guys, CJ brings up a good point. It's a little outside of today's scope, but I'm going to touch on it. I know a guy that lives in Michigan and works for Ford. Okay, he gets some information to me once in a while, and I was told that a prototype Raptor was seen at the Michigan Prototype Facility Complex, driving in and out. He said that there was shielding hiding independent rear suspension on that truck, and the sound of that truck, and from the inside information that he has, that truck probably has some version of the 7.3 Godzilla engine in it. Whether that will actually go into production, I don't know. But when my source tells me something, that he saw something, it's because he saw it, and it's because he knows it. So I posted a video about that, and I hope that we really see that, because a Raptor with a 7-liter big pushrod V8 would be a really cool truck. RS3 for me, I bet you can't wait for those tires. Those are nice tires. Mike J Autos and stuff. I'm going to have to go to Las Vegas to have Underfit 5.0 teach me how to drag race. That's right. Yeah, and beat his car with the C7. Well, your C7 is fast, but I tell you what, drag racing against Fran, that's no easy task. I wish you a lot of luck, Mike. But if you need somebody to teach you how to drag race, Fran's the man. Oh, so this thing's jumping all over again. So, Joni Pony in the house. Nice to have you, Joni. Giving me the thumbs up. I like that. That's my old lady, guys, by the way. All right, Desmond, I'll see you later. It's nice having you here, man. I'll talk to you soon. Alexander Woods, you should set your rear tires at 15 PSI. Once you heat the tires up, 2 PSI is added. I will definitely get there. From what I've seen, just studying the data that I had the last time, when I set my tire pressures at 28 and I went out and did 2 runs, I came back to the pits and the tire pressures were up around 32. So there is a growth rate, and I have to calculate that in as I'm making my passes and trying to go fast, because you set the tire pressures and immediately the pressures go up. You got to check them in between every run. And Dougie, from 5 Bar, he was in the pits giving me hell about that, because, I'm new to this. I don't know this. But between you guys and the people at 5 Bar, I'm learning fast. Raul P. Hola. Hola, ¿cómo está, Raul? Do you have plans for the 215 guard one? White Horse asked me. I do, but I don't want to jump into a second project because I'm busy with the Orange Fury car. And there are limits to what I could do with the Orange Fury car. So once I reach those limits, and I don't want to take it any further, and the stars are aligned and I'm wearing the right color socks and everything is kind of working out, I'll look at the 15 because it's a great car. I love everything about it. And I would really love to do a high power build with that car, because that's a 6R80 car, and that's a good car to do that with. So you might actually see that going down the road. So CJ Colvin asked me, if I was to buy an F-150, would I get with the 5-liter V8 or the 3.5? I would go with the 5-liter V8. The 3.5 is a nice package, but what I would do is get one with a 5-liter on it and put an on-3 turbo kit on it and call it a day. Oh man, Brian Racecar is in the house, or Brian Race. That's his Facebook name. Rated R Cars. What's going on, Brian? Uh, Brian's listening while he's in the shower. Why did my screen just jump like that, man? Let's go back to that. All right. Well, when you get out of the shower, come on out and comment some more. So who else we got here? Underfed Coyote. Fran says, Mike, bring the vet. my wife will gap you, and that's pretty cool. Mike, careful what you wish for. You might get it. Alexander Wood says, once you get more practice and you're 60 foots down, the stock tune, you will be 6'7" to 6'8" range. That's a good possibility. 6'7", maybe not with the Whipple tune, but I'm really hoping to do a 7-second flat, maybe crack into the sixes, and I will be happy. Did you guys notice that I went almost 105 miles an hour? And that was the part that kind of stymied me a little bit. How about you guys tell me what you think about that 105 miles an hour? I wanted to talk to you guys about that tonight and get your opinion about that, because the ETs were kind of like this, but the mile an hour was beyond what I expected it to be. So what do you guys think about that? Tracy Bassel says, cool. All right, Tracy, see you later. Nice to have you here, and we'll catch up with you another time. Mike J. Autos and Stuff says, Underfed, your car is really getting faster. It is. Fran's car is really killing it. I really like what he's doing. Mike J says, rated R car is naked. It's hysterical shit. Let me see. CJ, what do you think of the 427 single overhead cam two V camera V8 engine? You're talking about the old FE motor from years ago. That was a crazy idea that Ford had to build that camera engine. Unfortunately, they didn't let that car race in NASCAR. That was the whole thing. That engine was built to compete with the race Hemis in the Superbirds on the NASCAR tracks. By the time the Ford got that engine ready, NASCAR changed the rules. They wouldn't let them run it. So that really sucked. But it's an awesome engine, man. I mean, that's a real piece of Ford history. I be damn. Nice to have you in the house, bud. Nice build. Keep it moving. Thanks. I appreciate that. So, I'm on YouTube with my stuff. Hopefully you guys like it. Hopefully I can learn from you, and I really enjoy learning from you guys. Let me see. Todd Ray. Yes, your built motor is the way to go. Very nice. I think it is, guys. I mean, if you look back at the videos, if you know the power level that you want to fall into, those Livernois engines, or I mean, look, I'm not sponsored by Livernois. Nobody's paying me to say anything or do anything. I just talk about my experiences. The Livernois engine was so easy, Livernois has been around for a really long time, so it was kind of easy for me to call those guys up. I know I'm dealing with a reputable company. They know what they're doing. A guy named Dave answered the phone. He's been there for, I don't know, 30, 40 years. He knows the business. He knows his stuff. And it gave me a sense of confidence that I was getting a good engine. And the motor's been in the car for about 10 months. I've raced it. I've driven it hard on the street. It's running great. I have a lot of confidence in it. So if any of you guys want to follow my line and go with that engine, I could say you're not making a mistake. You're probably doing a good thing. But if you want to make really big power, go with a sleeved engine. And they have those too. You could just call them up, and within 6 weeks, they got a sleeved engine ready to ship it to your shop. So CJ says, what do you think of Tesla's new Cybertruck? I haven't been paying that much attention to that, CJ, but there's a lot of electric vehicles coming out. A lot of people want electric vehicles, and we're going to see more and more of that going down the road actually in the near future, because within the next few years, we're going to see a lot of electric cars and trucks. Underfed says, Stang Mode has a converter to pull 1.5 in at go, which helps a lot. Yeah, I mean, if you've got a car, like in your case, Fran, you're building your car for drag racing, and I'm kind of not. That's kind of not where I am. I'm bringing my street car to the track to show you guys what my street car could do. I'm not building a race car and then driving it on the street. I have a different theory about things, at least for this car right now. So, Anira Anderson is in the house. Nice to have you here, bud. Um, he says, I was just watching Alex Flores' latest video. He installed the headers catless on his Vortec 19. He gained 51 horsepower, and the rest of the exhaust 100% stock. I did watch that video. Alex does some pretty cool stuff, and he's a very smart guy too. His car is pretty cool. Basically, a Vortec car, catless, with a good set of headers, making 725 horsepower on 93. You know, that's the kind of car that I think a lot of people want to see, and I think that's why Alex puts these videos out on cars like that, because you know there are a lot of people out there that want to race, and that's all good because there's a lot of races out there. But a lot of us are just street car people. You know, we want to buy Mustangs, we want to modify them, we want to know specific packages of how to put things together and how things are going to work. And when a video like that comes out, I think that that's very helpful to everybody, because the car on the most part is basically stock, and he takes it to 725 horsepower to the rear wheels on pump gas. You know, I don't know how you beat that. You take a car like that and get enough fueling to it and run it on an E85, there's probably another 51 horsepower to have out of that car. So that was a really good video that he put out. He puts out a lot of good stuff. So Underfit saying he pulls 1.660s here in Vegas in the winter NA, and but it's because of the Circle D. Yeah, that's you know, Fran, I think you were talking about getting a trans brake or something like that. That combined with that Circle D converter, your car is going to launch like crazy. And here, Edison, you should get a set of those headers on your car. Well, that's just a great big maybe. For now, we're going to keep the cats on it, and we're going to see how much we could do in that form, and then later on down the road, depending on where I land with the power, because when I want to put 800 to the rear wheels, I'm probably going to have to put a set of long tubes on it. So stay tuned. You guys might see that going down the road. Biddy Customs, how's it going? Nice to have you here. Stranded M booster pump 40 amp fuse is melted on my Gen 1. Wow, that's too bad. I'm sorry to hear that. You know, a lot of guys use booster pumps, and many people don't have any reliability problems with them. But I've seen a couple of people have reliability problems with them. In fact, a couple of friends of mine have told me they've seen, you know, a booster pump for some reason make the fuel pump run backwards. You know, that might sound crazy. I haven't had that personal experience, but when I hear something like that, it makes me feel a little funny about booster pumps. I'd rather just put the right pump in and go from there. But I'm not an expert on these things. I'm learning. But when it comes around to when I need more fueling, you know, my first instinct is to just upgrade the fuel system with the right pump. So what else we got here? I don't know why I can't scroll. Any Custom said, just saw you live feed now. LOL. Hey, better late than never, right? Don't get this far behind in the comments. Trans brakes makes no difference on everything other than the drag strip launches. All right, Fran, I can't keep up with the comments. I mean, everybody's kind of underfed third gear and took off on me. Wait. Seems to me like my power on those new Gen 350s is always higher than before. They just don't do 60-foot wells. The 10-speed really the 10-speed really my power high. I raced the tuned and bolt on the 85-19, and man, it hit third. He hit third. Okay. So, Fran, you're having fun trying to race the Gen 3s. I think you beat that Gen 3 though, didn't you? Oh, he hit third gear and took off on you. All right. Well, was he on the 85? If he was, he's got a fast car. The 85 in the Gen 3 is actually a pretty potent package, because when you think about it, you're adding all that power. And, you know, when you put a supercharger or any kind of power add on the car, you're adding all of that weight. With the 85, you don't add any weight. I had E85 in my car, and that thing ripped. Lund wrote me a very good E85 tune, by the way. Okay, Determined Veteran is in the house. And he comments, Underfed and Speed Addict in the house also. That's right. Nice to have you here, Jack. White Horse, I think you're doing great on the track. Have fun. Nice street car. Don't take it too far. That's kind of how I am, White Horse. I'm one of those guys who just doesn't want to cross that street car threshold. I got a street car. I kind of want to maintain streetability all the time. Uh, Fran. So Ken's talking to Fran. Okay. Speed Addict brings up Derek's car. Derek Sizemore, if you guys don't know him, I know him on Facebook. I know him on Instagram. On Instagram, he's known as Sizemore78. He had, okay, a 2018 Mustang GT 10R80. Now I understand he recently sold the car, but that's a car that was making 798 horsepower to the rear wheels on the stock motor, and didn't have the piston problems or the problems that we see with the Gen 3s. I pulled this out just to show you guys. Okay, that's the piston that came out of my car. You guys remember this? I still have this. Look at that. All the ring lands are completely gone in a stage 1 Whipple car. So how this happens, why this happens, I have no idea. When a guy like Derek Sizemore can run his car and put 798 to the rear wheels and not have that problem, I don't know. I don't have any answer for that. Some people have bad luck, maybe, or there's manufacturing variations. I really don't know. But it's like a crapshoot. You never know what's going to happen. So, Stupid Fast Truck asked me, who is my contact at Killer Chiller if you want to talk to them about your application? You can talk to Joe Kincaid. Okay, I don't have his phone number. I wasn't ready to answer that question, but if you browse for Killer Chiller, his shop is in New Mexico, and you can pick up the phone number from the website. Joe Kincaid is a really nice guy. He likes to talk to people. He will answer your questions. He likes to talk, so he'll talk to you for as long as you want to talk to you. You know, for as long as you want to talk to him, and he'll answer all your questions. And if you get any ideas the next day, the next week, you call him. There's no problem with him talking to you. You can see from my experience that Killer Chiller works. I'm here in Florida. We see upwards of 90 degrees for so many months out of the year. And my intercooler fluid temperatures run 40 degrees or less. And my cabin AC has really not been affected. So it's one of those kinds of things that you could put on your car. In my case, I don't even have a heat exchanger because I've got the Killer Chiller on the car. And one thing that I didn't mention enough about that Killer Chiller is that when I put the Killer Chiller on and I took the heat exchanger out, I noticed the car drove better because I lost a few pounds on the front end of the car. I had a really thick heat exchanger that was about 3¼ inches thick. It consumed the whole frontal area of the radiator support, and all the air had to flow through that first before it would flow through, you know, the AC condenser and the radiator. So I'm throwing hot air at those other components, and I'm adding all that weight to the front end. I put the Killer Chiller on it. I lost the weight, and I increased airflow through the radiator. My engine's running cooler. My air conditioner is working better. It's a no-brainer modification if you want to improve a lot of things on your car with that Killer Chiller. And if you want to run a heat exchanger, there's also a bypass valve that you could put in if you want to keep a heat exchanger as well. So there's lots of different ways you can put that together. So, determined veteran asked the question. Man, I don't know. I got to get better at this, guys. I'm really sorry. Good friend didn't think you're able to make Al's live stream, but came in here. Yeah, thanks for stopping in, Jack. It's always nice to have you here. And guys, everybody who's watching, Jack, Determined Veteran, he's got a really cool channel. Why don't you go over there and check him out? He's got a 2020, I think, GT350R that he just got. Really awesome car. And he's got a ZL1 Camaro, which is a really nice car. Now, I know the Mustang guys and the Camaro guys are 2 wires sometimes that you don't want to cross. It could be a little tough. But really, I was like that for a lot of years when it came to the Chevys. I'm a Ford guy. I'll always be a Ford guy, but I'm always keeping an eye on what the Chevy guys do. And that ZL1 is one really nice car. And fast, too, because Jack did 10.7 1/4 mile. And that is really hauling ass. So what else we got here? Mustang for life. Nice to have you here, bud. I'm glad you like the videos, man. I aim to please. Paid 2009. Hey, brother, how's it going? How you doing, man? Nice to have you here. Had a great run the other day in a 1/4 mile. Did you run the 1/4 mile there, Paid 2009? I was in the 8. But it's nice to hear that you had a good day. So Monty 541, says booster pump is a Band-Aid. I kind of agree with that. I think sometimes the use of a booster pump is when you reach a threshold that you realize that you're running lean and you need something right now. All right, you throw it in there, but that's like, okay, you need to do something after that, right? You need to upgrade the fuel system. Uh, there are a lot of people that might disagree with me about that, but I like to play it safe. I like to have the right fuel system with the right fuel pump and supply the engine with what it needs that way. Let me see. Underfed says your buddy with nitrous pulled 149 60 foot and is this 197 nitrous and 410s, but he's usually in the 150s. 60 foot times, man, that is ripping. I can't imagine going that fast. My 60 foot times were 1.8. Let me see. Ken says that Derek's car was a 315 gear car, stock converter, and stock suspension. Ken, how fast did he go? Or am I behind on the comments? But I don't really know how fast Derek Sizemore went with that car. And near innocent, you should have seen the evidence out from running the blower with the stock cats. I think running headers and the rest stock still managed to keep the noise level within reasonable limit. That's good to know because I am very conscious of noise. I really don't like a lot of noise. That's one of the reasons why I leave the stock exhaust system on it, because I like to keep my car quiet. I don't like to draw a lot of attention to myself. Okay, who else we got here? Underfed says, I bet a blue one. I beat a blue one and then raced bolt-on gray 85, bolt-on Gen 3 are fast, run 11.9s to track. I haven't raced them since. New tune called and cat delete, I think you mean. Yeah, I mean, the Gen 3s are hard to beat, man, but they can be beat if you build your car right. Monty 541 says detonation. Yeah, right. You saw this, right? Detonation. It's very likely. Probably the tune. But I'm still running that tune in my car that I'm racing. It's running good. I think, honestly, guys, I think these pistons are defective. You know, these engines are mass produced. They're hyper-eutectic. I don't know. I have my doubts about this. Some people have good luck with them. Some don't. I don't have a lot of faith in them. All right. So Ken says to kill a chiller is a win. I think I skipped a couple of people. Todd Ray says rings melted. If all things being equal, I'd strongly think it was the tune. Okay, quite possibly. Mustang 860. Hey, how's it going? Hello, Al. 26 degrees up here in Connecticut. Dude, I'm sorry to hear that. You know, speaking of temperatures, this is what I got. Check out my little weather station here. You guys see that? It's 73 degrees outside and it's 77 degrees here in the house. I'm just hanging out here. You know, the windows are open in the back. This is the nice time of the year to be here. Jeff Hager, is Brian still taking a shower? Yeah, right. Where's Earl? He'll be here. He'll be here. Give him a few minutes. He'll be. My 15 Supercharged GT goes into sort of limp mode after an hour or so of steady driving. Won't let me give it much gas. No power resets. So shut down. Anyone have any ideas? Wow, that's interesting. That's a tough problem to have. I wouldn't know how to approach that. I think I would data log that car and get it over to a tuner and let him look at that. And your car is supercharged. Yeah, that's something that I would start right with my tuner. I would give him whatever information he wants to try to figure out what that is. He went 6.2. Is that what it was, Ken? That's fast in the 8th. What would that be in a quarter mile? That's probably, I don't know. Would he get into the 9s with that? Jeff Hager's F-150. That's a Whipple Stage 2 with a 2.9 Whipple. Went 1.65 before tuning. Can't wait to see with good weather. I am very interested to see what your truck does after that tuning. Would you pick up 95 horsepower from the tuning? That's insane. Mustang 860 says, I have the perfect weather. I have my damn furnace blowing. I'm sorry to hear that, guys. Hang in there. I'm sorry to hear that Mustang 860. Better days are coming. It'll get better. Just hang in there. Near Innocent says, what's next for Al for Orange Fury new tune? I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna race my car with the Whipple tune a few more times out. I'm expecting to go next week. just going to get the most I can out of it right now. And then probably after the holidays, after Christmas, I'm going to look into some tuning. And if budget permits, I might go with some new hardware. There's a few things I might want to do. Um, I might get the throttle body. I might get a pulley down a little bit. I'm not exactly sure yet, but definitely some tuning. So what do we got here? Edison, let me see. White Horse, 75 degrees here in Foley, Alabama. That's nice, man. That looks good. Okay, so Mustang 860 asked me how my cat is doing. How is Smokey doing? Well, guys, if you've been to my Facebook, I revealed that Smokey wasn't doing well. I showed everybody Smokey at the last live stream, and he was just down here at my feet, laying here. The next day, he started vomiting, and it did not look good for him. We got him to the vet. They gave him some medicine. He wasn't responding. We got through the weekend, and we got to another vet on Monday, and they re-diagnosed him, and they gave him some different medicine. Now, he's doing a little bit better. I'm going to get him for you. And here's Smokey. He's doing much, much better. He's eating. He's happy. He's the cat that will never look where you want him to look. But he's a good guy. He's 10 years old. He's not a young cat by any means, but cats usually will live to 15 to 20 years old, sometimes longer than that. He's not out of the woods. He's doing better. He's been eating, and he's a little mad at me. You want to go down? So he's doing better, and we're happy, and we're going to get him to the vet Monday and have him look at him again. He's got a problem with his teeth. That was the thing. So they got him on an antibiotic, and he's feeling better, and he's eating. That's the main thing. So thumbs up, but he's not out of the woods yet. Brian's drying off. Nice to hear that, Brian. Monty 541, 24 degrees in New Hampshire. That's a little chilly. Jeff Hager, rated our car. Stop drying off, brother. All right. Brian says, Al, knowing all you know about my car, would you do turbos or just too dangerous? I really want to put the 85 in it again, but just not sure anymore. Well, Brian, you've been through a lot with your cars. Your 18 blew a motor, that buyback, you get the GT350, and now you're having problems with that. You got a good motor in it now at this point. And they gave you the extended warranty, right? You managed to pull that off. Well, do you really want to avoid the warranty? I think that's the biggest question. If you don't want to avoid the warranty, I don't blame you, because the car's pretty hot the way it is. But if you're okay with avoiding the warranty, honestly, I would put a 409 gear in the rear, and I would go with either turbos or a blower or even a centrifugal. Any kind of boost, I think, would be good on the GT350. A Whipple would be great on that. Hellion twin turbos would be insane. There's lots of different things that you could do, but it's really about avoiding the warranty, brother. You really got to search your soul on that one. By the way, I'm looking up over here and I see 40 people are in here. I am shocked that 40 people actually want to be in my live stream. So thanks a lot, guys. It's awesome. So Michael Schaefer is in the house, doing good with the live stream. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Mike. Ghetto 1969. Hey, car guy. Hope you had a fantastic turkey day. I did. I ate way too much. I am not going to eat for the next week. Brian's laughing. Yeah, we're having a lot of fun here, Brian. Needs more power. Well, I tell you what, Brian, put the 409 gear in it and see what happens. That alone is going to liven up a GT350. I don't know. I don't really pay a lot of attention to what people do with those cars. If I had one, that would be the first thing I'd do. Old school hot rodding, throw a gear in the rear. And you got a pretty deep overdrive in the transmission, so it shouldn't affect your cruising that much. Think about that. Let me see. Todd Ray says, no soft food for the cat causes their teeth to rot. Yeah, yep. That might have been one of the things that we did that wasn't so good for him. We got Smokey when he was 5 years old. He was, we didn't have him when he was a kitten. First, my mother-in-law had him. Couldn't stay there because of the dogs. Then my sister-in-law had him, and it was the same kind of thing with the dogs. And we ended up taking him here, and we've had him for the past 5 years. We got our fingers crossed. We're hoping that he's going to be okay. Let me see. Yeah, Mike J is advising Brian not to put the supercharger on the car. Don't void the warranty. Um, I'm kind of with Mike on that one, but if you put a 409 rear in it, and you know, if you run into problems, you could always take the rear out, right? If, as long as you build another one and you keep the stock one, you can always swap them in and out. It's a little bit of a pain to do that, but it is doable. So let me see, Monty 541. Too many 350s blowing up, scary. That's true. Um, Now, Brian, fill us in. The GT350s that were blown was probably that old motor, right? You got like a newer version of that engine that's supposedly better. I'm not an expert on these things, but I'm going to say that was probably the old motor that was giving a lot of people trouble. Uh, Ghetto 1969. Do you have the oil, gears, and timing in my car? Yes, I do. I have a Boundary oil pump that has the Boundary oil pump gears in it. It's actually a GT350 pump. For those who are not familiar with that, I did a video on it when the oil pump came in. It said 5.2 on it, so that was very interesting. Underfit Coyote says, I see you talking to Brian. What's he say? Leave it stock, see how it holds up. That's good advice. Okay, so Jeff Hager informs everybody that on Instagram, he's Nevada _country _coyote. Nevada County Coyote. That's Jeff Hager's Instagram name. Mike J says, don't risk your car, Brian. Brian's nervous. I don't blame you. Brian, you should be nervous. I would be. Actually, I'm nervous about my stuff. I mean, I blew stuff up. Brian blew up 2 engines. Man, that sucks. Jeff Hager says, Brian, get the F-150. Go fast all year round. Yeah, right. Dorian Felton, new to the channel, but great content. Thank you, Dorian. I appreciate that. Yaropol 80. Did I pronounce that right, my friend? Nice to have you in the house. For those of you guys who do not know Yaropol 80, he's in Tampa. He's not too far from me. He's got a great channel. He does a lot of really cool things. Some of it automotive and some of it not. So if you want to see some really cool stuff, go visit Yaropol 80. He's a really cool guy. Near Edison, what's your first impression of new VMP Olden? I'm sure it will perform great, but I was expecting a more police product from the look standpoint. Oh, polished, probably, I think we're trying to say. If only 1 point. I think, are you talking about the new Gen 3R blower that VMP has? If that's the case, I think that thing is badass. If supercharging is really what you're into, I don't think you can go wrong with that one. Brian says to Jeff, you're tearing up all your cars. You know, some of us just like to do that, man. You know, you get to the point in life, you do what you want to do. You want to have fun. It's as simple as that. Get on 1969 says, I'm glad that the Whipple covered your engine. Yeah, I mean, I had the stage 1 and I had the warranty. I paid for that warranty, and it's a good thing I got that. Mustang 860, it's good news. I have a lot of cats. Ask your veterinarian if he thinks prednisone will be good for your cat, if it worked for numerous times for mine. So I will ask that question. Thank you very much, Mustang 860. For some reason, this thing decided to start scrolling on me. Todd Ray, 2018 Coyotes have forged crankcase gears. Forged crank gears. However, the oil pump gears are still powdered metal. I did not know that, Todd. That's very good information. Also, he says 18 Coyotes later have forged crank gears. Okay, that's the same comment. That must have doubled up. Underfed, Brian, get a Platinum F-150 Raptor. Hey, Brian, if they build the 7.3 Raptor, that's a truck I would want to have. In fact, if they build that, I might even buy one. Brian says need an extra job. Yeah, I could use a couple extra jobs myself. So Mike J asked me about the BMW Supra. Well, that's an interesting car, guys. I date back to the time when the Datsun 280Zs came out. For those of you guys who were around during that period, it was in the late 70s. The late 70s was a dark period for muscle cars. They were gone after 1970. So there was this, period that there really wasn't anything around. And Datsun, who's now Nissan, came out with the 240Z, the 260Z, and the 280Zs. And those cars were hot. A lot of people in my neighborhood had them, and they were all over the place. And I kind of grew up with that. So when I see this new Supra, that's kind of what plays on me. I think of the same kind of period. I think the car is cool. I'm hearing about reliability problems, but I think they're going to work that out. If you like that kind of sports car kind of thing, I think it would be a cool car to own. Near Anderson asked me, is the brand the new 18 blower? It is the brand new 18 blower. I believe that's the Gen 3R, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Ken, if you're in here, correct me if I'm wrong. I think that thing is really stout. If they've released one for the 18, I believe they did. That's a lot of blower. That thing's going to make a lot of torque, and that should make your car run. Hopefully, the rest of your drivetrain will hold up with a blower like that. That's what concerns me about stuff like that. So Jeff Hager says, radar cars, fingers are crossed. Pray before every race, right? It's what you call plug and pray. Okay, Ken, I'll see you later. If you haven't already gone, I know I'm a little late. Thanks for stopping in, and I'll see you next time. Let me see. So the 280, so Gatos 1969 says the 280Zs were great. Yes, they were. And I think I missed a couple people. Let me scroll back up. All right, so yeah, I think I got it. So you guys are talking to each other. Yarpol says, just want to let you know that my next test drive will be a 2009 Ford Mustang Rouse Stage 3. That's pretty neat. We'll have to check that one out. What about the GT350 5.2 Voodoo intake on the Gen 3, Gen 5 Coyotes, just like the Bullet? I'd like to do that. That's a good swap. I've talked to some tuners that say that if you've got if you have a Gen 3 or a Gen 2 or one of those other Coyote engines, that the GT350 intake manifold really is the one to get. It might give a little bit down low on the power band, but it gains so much at the top that that's a good intake manifold to put on there. So I'm going to give that a thumbs up, mainly because I'm hearing that from my tuner and he's an expert. So I'm not going to double cross him. Radar cars, yes, snow inbound. You getting snow up there, Brian? Am I understanding that right? Odin. See, I'm not really up on that VMP blow, guys. I'm learning this from you guys. Odin is for 18 and up, so it must fit the hood line and have the. Now, that's a front inlet, if I'm not mistaken. I really have to get up on it. I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it. But VMP makes, they make some really good blowers. So I know I got a Whipple, but I'm not saying anything bad about the VMP blowers. Whitehorse says Voodoo intake on a 10 already with 355 gears. That's right. That is a badass combination. So Brian says I'm going to be dipping into the 60s on Wednesday. Really? I have to check that out. Actually, when that happens, I like that because I'm a northerner. Sometimes it feels a little too hot for me down here. What do I think of the new Bronco? I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I know I like the old Broncos, like the original Broncos. I remember them when I was a kid. They were super cool. But I'm going to have to check out the new one. So that's it. No more comments. So there's still 33 people in here, guys. So anybody got any questions about my track times, my tire pressures, my Livernois engine? There was a lot of things that I did and some videos that I posted. I wanted to have that conversation with you guys. Okay. Is there something wrong with the stream? Okay, here we go. Staying mode's Black Mamba is getting the Odin now. Yeah, that's I'm gonna have to check that out because I really do believe that that's a super potent blower. I know that the TVS 2650 was a potent blower. The problem is that the way they made that one for the 18 with the stock throttle body opening, I wasn't too happy with that. And the intercooler was not very efficient. There were heat soak issues with that. I hope they work that out on the Gen 3R. J.R. Hansen, what's up? How's it going, man? Hope your Thanksgiving was good. Yes, it was. Well, hey, listen, better late than never, man. It's nice to have you here. Todd Ray, according to Ford, the new 5.2 block GT350 500 utilized the new stronger Predator block engine block. That's excellent. Brian from Rated R Cars, actually, that's what happened to his engine. He had a block failure. Somewhere in the lifter valley over by the passenger side, there was a crack in the block, and it was losing coolant into the valley of the motor down there. So imagine Ford recognized that, and they started casting the blocks differently, and they solved that problem. And now Brian has that engine in his car, so that's really cool. So Michael asked me, what is my ideal track time? Well, in the form that the car is in, I would say I would really like to see a 7 seconds flat or even 699. I do not have a good tune in the engine. It's Whipple Stage 1 tune, warranted, street legal, 50 states legal tune. It's very soft, but I think it's capable of a 7 second flat or a 699. So that's what I'm hoping for. And Near Anderson asked me, when am I going to the quarter-mile track? Probably within the next month. Hopefully I can get there before Christmas. But if I don't, I'll definitely get there after Christmas. The quarter-mile track is a little far for me to get to, but I got a friend up there that we just got his car fixed, and we're both going to run. He's got a 19 Mustang with Stage 2, and my 18 is with the Stage 1. All right, so I'm getting texts, friends telling me I got more comments. But for some reason, they weren't coming up, but now they're all coming up. All right, Mike J, see you later. Whitehorse, I'll see you later. Mike J says the electric Mustang is just wrong with the name. Yeah, right. He says Probe was more appropriate name. Honestly, I don't. It's a cool car. I just watched Ken's video. I'm in total agreement with him. They should not have named it the Mustang. I'm a little worried about that, guys. Think about that. They take this four-door sport utility or CUV or whatever they're doing with it, and they're calling it a Mustang. Okay, what's the next generation Mustang going to look like? Is it going to look like that? Are they going to try to sell us a sport utility as the next generation Mustang? I don't think that's going to go over very well. If they're doing something like that, they're making a very big mistake. And if they do that, the older S550s are going to shoot up in value. Junior Hansen says the VMP's new Odin kit, they just dynoed the GT on 93 octane. They made 805 to the rear wheels. They look like a pretty good blower. I would say 800 to the rear wheels right there, just like that. What do you guys think? Do you think that that's good for a stock engine? I don't know about that one. That one I'm a little sketchy on. Jeff Higgins says I'll easily get there. I hope so, Jeff. I'm close. I was at 707. I just got to launch the car a little bit better. Yeah, Monty 540 says no rusty cars here. It's true. We have a good climate for cars. They don't rust out. We have humid weather, but we don't have the salt on the roads. I think that's the main thing. Let me see. Todd Ray says it's called the Ford Electric Bugalo. They should have named it the Ford Probe. You guys remember when they did that? They tried to release a front-wheel drive car as a Mustang, and the public went nuts. So Ford continued to build the Fox body, and they named that car the Ford Probe. And they should have done that again, because it was a mistake. The Probe was sort of something that they just did in the last minute. Okay, we'll call it something else, and we'll build it. They should have did the same thing with this electric car that they made, whatever they want to call it. Let me see. Pony 3816, nice to have you in the house. What's up, buddy? An 800 on stock. How long till it goes boom? That's right. Hey, look, I had one going boom, just with 9 pounds of boost. I was putting a little over 600 to the wheels. Putting a blower that can make that much power on the engine. I'm going to go on a limb. I'm expecting problems with that. Italian Stang, nice to have you in the house. Nice to see you, bud. Let me see. Cali cars out there are great. California cars, you mean? Yeah, they hold up pretty good too. I think it's mainly because there's no salt on the roads. Arizona cars I hear are pretty good. Mike J should chime in, but I think he left. I think he's done for the night. Okay, Near Edison, good night, man. Nice to have you in here. Let me see. All right. So things are slowing down here, guys. I've been on here for about an hour. Anybody got any questions, any advice, anything that you think I should be doing going down the road with the car? We're going to go out to the 8th mile. I'm planning on dropping the tire pressures, doing some simple things. I'm getting used to the car a little bit, and I'm hoping to get that 7 seconds flat. So yeah, so Mike J is still here. He says Arizona cars also no rust issues. That's really nice. Pony 3816 says he's got a question. Okay, I'll wait for it. So let me see, Italian Stang. Did you dig into the motorbike stuff, by the way? No, I did not. I have my RM 370 in the garage. I love that bike, but I just don't have it in me to ride it. The bike's got like a brand new gas tank. Everything's brand new on it. I just don't want to take it out into the dirt and trash it. And I'm afraid that that bike is going to trash me, honestly. But maybe someday. So Mustang 860 asked me, how's the gray Mustang? You know, it's funny. We parked next to a graphite looking car, Mustang today, and but I have the guard green color, and they're very similar. It's easy to mistake my car for being gray, but it's doing good. I'm enjoying it. Let me see. So Pony 3816 asked me, what are the chances of me coming out to Pebble Beach? Am I understanding that? What are the chances you're coming out here for the concourse in Pebble Beach? I'd love to do a track day at Laguna with you. Boy, would I love to come out there. I don't have any plans, but you know, hopefully, yeah, that sounds like something that should be on my bucket list. Maybe I should get out there at some point. So Jeff Hager says Boostain. That's right. That's a good product. No doubt about it. And Brian's asking Mike, did you get the leak fixed yet? It's going to take some time to get that one fixed. Italian Stangs mentions to me motorbike, the oil additive. I use an oil additive, guys. It's called Power Up Lubricants. I thought I had something over here. I use a product from this company. This is Power Up Lubricants. If you guys want to look this up on the web, they have industrial grade products. This is not retail stuff like Slick 50 that you're going to find on the shelves in an auto parts store. You have to either order that stuff from the main hub in Texas, or you have to find a dealer in your area. It's a friction reducer that's like a miracle product. People tell me snake oil, all this other stuff. Fine. If it's something that you don't believe, I've learned that over the years that you can never convince somebody of an oil product because everybody's got some kind of thing. I've been using Power Up for a very long time. If you've got a Coyote that doesn't have a friction reducer in it, it makes a certain amount of noise, right? You put the Power Up in it, and it quiets it down, and it's amazing. It reduces heat, reduces friction. It's all good. Improves your gas mileage. It absolutely works. If you want to try it, give it a try. So where am I? Let me see. Don't get greedy with the horsepower. Keep it safe. Monty 540 says that. Yeah, I mean, that's why I did not go with a sleeved engine. I am not sending the power into the stratosphere. If I could get 800 to the rear wheels on this car, I'm going to have a lot of fun tracking it. And it's at that point I'll decide if I'm going to go further. But I don't know if the transmission can hold up to much beyond that. So I don't really expect that I'm going to go beyond that. But you know how we are. Too much power is almost enough. So when I get to that point, it's very possible that we're going to turn up the wick even more than that. Okay, motor coat. Okay, sorry about that. Motor coat was okay. Now I know. Okay, good old 1969. This is a fella that came to the area here that looked me up, and I talked to him on the phone a couple of times. Motor Coat is another product company that makes products similar to the Power Up. I haven't looked into it, but I'm told that it's also a very good product. It's probably worth looking into for all you guys. It's called Motor Coat, and I'm told that it's a very good product. So maybe I'll do some research on that. We'll talk about that on another day. I must be behind on the comments, and I just okay. Unfed If you practice your launch techniques in the proper foot brake, you'll get 6.8, 6.7s. I hope so, Fran. How many? Mike J asked me how many miles I put on the green GT. About 2,000 so far. Paid 2009 says, "What's up, fakers?" They should be dropping the prices, trying to move those. All right, you guys talking to each other. Okay, so Grey Ghost says try Viking Crusaders in the back. You'll get 60 foot down. Yeah, I might try those. That's good advice. Just good. Let me see. Ponyo, I'm sorry if I'm not saying this right. Ponyo 3816. I'm so happy with mine. I just couldn't find one with the Magna ride. But my Mustang is basically a Bullet, but with the automatic. And the only thing I couldn't find was the Magna ride. You know, when I was buying my car, that was a hard decision. You know, it wasn't so much a decision between performance pack and non-performance pack. It was a decision between non-performance pack and Magna ride. I really wanted the Magna ride, but when I bought my car, it was early in production. It was actually 2017 when I bought my car, and there weren't that many deals out. And to get Magna ride would have been really expensive, so I just abandoned the whole idea of the performance pack, and I went with a non-performance pack car. And the price was actually reasonable because of that. So I'm still having fun. I just don't have the Magna ride. I wish I had it. Stupid Fast Truck says Guard is a great color, Guard green. Might have to copy you and get a Mustang in that color. I really like that car. You don't see too many of them around in the Guard green. And I remember when they first came out, that was my favorite color. I really wanted one. And it's nice to have one. I saw it on a lot, and I couldn't resist. Brian says he got his Mustang GT under MSRP. I actually got mine under MSRP also, but not much. They gave me a little bit of a discount, and they gave me a great trade-in on the S197 that I had, and it pretty much sealed the deal for me. I took the Orange Fury car home. And if I'm not mistaken, Brian, I think you got one of your early builds too, right? That first Mustang that you had? Okay, Fran Underfit, talk to you later. All right, nice to have you here, bud. We'll see you next time. And Mustang 860 is putting his snow tires on. Oh, man, it's a sad day. But better days are coming. Springtime is just around the corner. After the holidays, you could, it's like light that you can see at the end of the tunnel. So hang in there, kid. Better days are coming. Okay, Panyo 3816 says, living Monterey has made me numb to super. I'm having a hard time seeing this. Sorry about that, guys. Numb to supercars. Monterey, I don't know where that is. Fill me in, Panyo 3816. I really don't. I don't know where pardon my ignorance. I don't know where that is. Yeah. So Italian Stang reminds me motor coat, not motorbike. This is stuff we were discussing instead of Ceratec, right? I did not look into the motor coat. I'm sorry. You did inform me that it was a great product. And Ceratec, Ceratec's a good product. We got into that a lot in the last live stream, probably too much so. Ceratec is a repair product if you have a problem, and then there are friction reducers that are really good for maintenance. You just use it; it keeps your engine healthy. So that these are very different products. So let me see. So Panyo 3017 says I've been getting 5 quarts of oil at Wally World from Motorcraft. $19. That's kind of a little scrambled over there. I'm not sure what you mean. $19, 5 quarts of motor oil from Wally's World. I guess that's a good price. That seems pretty good. Brian, I got a call HOA Monday to see if they claim it. I think you'll get it claimed, Mike. If they took care of the last one, they'll probably take care of this one too. Let me see. Todd Ray says if I got a build motor, there's no weak link there. Now have fun with the stage 285 and 205 a gallon here. I probably will go E85. It's probably not the first thing I'm going to do with the car. I'm probably going to tune the stage 1, track test it, go to stage 2, with a tune, track test that on 93, and then go to E85 after that, and slip some long tubes in there in between all of that. Let me see. My radar cars, I need to get some winter rims so I could just swap them myself. Try a set of PP1 rims, Brian. You might need to use some spacers, but you will probably could use the PP1 wheels because they're likely to clear the front brakes. Correct me if I'm wrong, if there's anybody out there that knows better than me. But for a GT350 to have a winter set of rims, something inexpensive, I think the PP1s might work. The offsets aren't right, the back spacing isn't right, but maybe with spacers, you can get them on there and Brian can get through the winter. And I believe he'll clear those big brakes in the front. So if I'm wrong, please correct me, but that would be my advice to Brian. Let me see. Okay, I see somebody in house that I haven't seen for a while. Jerry from Gotham EMS. What's happening? Nice to have you here, Jerry. You guys remember Jerry? He had a ticking car. He wouldn't accept it. Sent it back on a buyback. Have a nice day. I don't blame you. And Jerry's looking for a 1987 Buick Grand National. Nice car, man. Especially in '87. That's the one to have. I did a video on one going back several months. That was the car that took down the Fox body at the time. That was a really hot car. And Monty 540, you had a TM 100. Okay, I had a TM 400. I had a 1972 TM 400 Suzuki. But you guys who are unfamiliar with this, we're talking about dirt bikes from the 70s. Okay, the TM 400 was known as the Widowmaker. The bike was violent the way the power came on. That the car got the name as being the most dangerous dirt bike ever made, and they called it the Widowmaker. And I had one when I was in my teens, and I used to hit that thing hard, man. It's a miracle that I didn't get killed on that thing. Monty 540 had a TM 100. That was actually a pretty cool bike. I got an RM 370 in the garage, Monty 540. I bet you really like that bike. I'm going to put it in the video so I can show it to you. Let me see. Brian, Mike Norton says hello. Mike, how's it going? I think I missed you last time. I'm sorry, and I almost missed you again, but because this thing's scrolling really funny. But it's nice to have you here, Mike. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, Brian says get me on a cruiser bike. It's funny because I was just talking to my old lady about that. I wouldn't mind a cruiser bike so I could ride with people who all ride together. I find street bike riding to be a little bit dangerous, but I see on the road a lot of guys riding together. They make it difficult for people to get in their way and cause them trouble. That I might do. That's a very good idea. So Pay 2009 says God green looks amazing in person. It's a really nice color. It's it's a shifting color. Like at certain angles, it looks a little gray and then a little green. It's really cool. I wonder why they haven't brought that color back. So yeah, so people are recognizing that Gotham EMS is in the house. Jerry's a really nice guy. I've talked to him. Jerry, it would be really cool if you could do some videos, man. I think we all miss you. Let me see. Yeah, so Mustang 860. You had a Buick Grand National. That was a cool car. Monterey is next to Pebble Beach, below San Francisco. Okay. I should have known that. I'm sorry about that. And so Jerry, you're educated. Actually, how about a GNX? How about getting one of those? I bet they're hard to find though. But the '87 Buick Grand National is a really hot car. So I'm being asked, what do I think of the SFR? My friend Lenny's asking me about that. I've talked about the Power Up, the friction reducer. I've also used a product called SFR. It's basically the same thing. I don't know if it's the same chemical makeup, looking at it from a chemistry standpoint, but it achieves the same thing. You put this stuff in your engine, it reduces friction. It's amazing. And I can't stress that enough. But I've learned over the years that, there are people who are open-minded to oil additives, and there are people who are just like, nah, it's snake oil, and they dismiss it. So be it. But I use it, and I believe in it, and it's serviced me very well over the years. So let me see if I can get this right. So Mike J talks to Jerry about the Grand National. What's the matter, Mike? Your dad wouldn't buy you one? That's too bad. Go get one now. They're still out there. So Pay 2009 says you got a 19 GT, maybe 5,000 miles on. I'm really concerned that the engine is going to start ticking, so I'm thinking about trading it in. It's a tough call. Is it ticking now? If it isn't ticking now, I would say sit tight. If it ticks a little bit, it's probably okay. If you want to play it safe and make the tick go away, put the power up in it, put the SFR in it. If you're not familiar with those products are, flag me on Facebook, okay? I'm Al Coyote Car Guy on Facebook. You can get me on Instagram. I'm Coyote Car Guy, one word. Or you could hit me up in the comment sections in my videos, and I'll guide you to the right place to get the right product. So let me see. Rod Ray says, great videos. Cheers. Thank you very much, my friend. So Monty 541 says, I'm here just because, and I don't even own a Ford. Well, it's nice to have you here, but what kind of car do you own? So Panyo 3860s, I was close to buying a 2008 SRT Magnum, a Mopar. I helped my roommate get a 2006 all-wheel SXT Magnum, and I just loved the car, but I went to the brand new Mustang instead. Well, I can't blame you for that. I mean, I'm a Mustang guy. I just love the ergonomics of a Mustang. Um, the Challengers are a little too big for me. That's why I don't own one of those. Even though I like the car is too big. So I've always stayed away from that car. Pay 2009 says the Grand National took down the Corvette that year and took the fastest car of the year award. It's true. The 87 Grand National was revolutionary. It had an intercooler on it. It had a turbo on it, and that was just the beginning of lots of cool stuff. Too bad they don't build a Buick Grand National. That would be a car that I think that would sell pretty good if they built one today. Yeah, Jerry says good seeing you. It's nice having you here too, Jerry. Okay, so Blackie 2018 A10 is in the house. How's it going? What of your cars do you prefer? Hellion? Okay. Do I prefer the Hillian kit or the Whipple? That's a very hard question to answer because the Whipple, just being a supercharger, right, a twin screw or a root style supercharger, delivers power very different than a Hillian kit or a Hillian kit. I have a friend, Chatty, who's got a Hillian kit on his Coyote swapped 07 Mustang, and the thing is capable. I mean, he's putting down 1,300 to the rear wheels. An Hellion kit is like a super high-powered kind of kit to put on your car that exceeds, I think, what the Whipple is capable of. The Whipple is more of a streetable kind of thing, or is capable of making really big power and putting your car into the nines. But a Hillian kit, man, that's insane. That's insane power. So I think for me to answer that question is to say, do I want insane power, or do I want something that's capable of something more streetable and, just going with the root style supercharger? And that's not to say that a Hellion kit is not streetable, because it is. It's just a question of how you want the power delivery. Can I say I want both? Is that a problem? Because they're both awesome. Let me see. Panyo 3816. To be honest, as a dude that rebuilt a Shell 98 SN95 with 7 other wrecked cars, I don't give a damn about the tick. I don't have it, late model production, but why I picked up the 100K warranty. Okay. The tick is one of those things that I've seen in some of these cars that they could be ticking and they run just fine. It doesn't get any worse. And in some cases, when the oil dirties up, the tick goes away. If you guys have followed Mustang Mike 740, okay, he just floated a video recently because he had his first engine replaced. He got his second engine. It was ticking. It upset him at first, but now he realizes that the tick is actually sometimes a symptom. It's not that bad. if it's just a moderate tick. I think a good friction reducer might make that go away if you want to approach it that way. So Mustang 860 says cars are awesome. 4 people flying out of New Jersey, toll both ways. Goodbye, Corvette. On our way to Elston, Englishtown every Friday. Lots of fun. I bet that is a lot of fun. Pony 3816 says someone find me a 96 Superbird. 96 Superbird. I always wanted to take the turbo off that Windsor and put it on a 98 3.8. Okay, so you're talking about a Thunderbird Superbird, right? 96. Yeah, I mean that would have been pretty cool, right? 96 Superbird. I'm a little confused with that statement, but I think you're talking about putting a turbo on a Windsor engine or vice versa. Mustang 860 flags Jerry at Gotham EMS. There's a GNX on eBay right now for $85,000. I bet. Let me see. We're in this for an hour and 31 minutes at this point. I'm probably going to sign off pretty soon. So let me see. Monty 541, low mile GN pulling big money in my areas. I imagine those cars are expensive now, man. I remember when they were all over the place, but not the case anymore. Take it easy, Brian. Nice to have you here. Let me see. Salvador 24. Nice to have you in the house, bud. Salvador 24 asked me, what's my suggestion when drag racing a full tank of gas in the quarter mile? Well, you're carrying a lot of weight. I mean, I made that mistake. I should have mentioned that when I was at the track last week. I made the mistake of going there with a full tank of gas. I won't do that next time. If you need to have weight in the back of the car for traction, maybe it's not so bad, but I would say it's probably not a good thing. It's easy to make that mistake. My first time in 25 years, I went out to the track with a full tank of gas. I wasn't thinking. So let me see. So Monty 541, 73 big block Monte Carlo, a 540 cubic inch engine with NOS that I've owned since 1987. Is that what you got there, bud? That sounds like a pretty cool car. Miles Heil says we have a V6 Challenger wife's car, like a Caddy compared to the Mustang. V6 Challenger, huh? I remember when they first built those cars, they were talking about them like they were. It was like driving in a big sedan. Basically, that's what it was. It was an E-Class Mercedes, and they just modified it to use it in the Challengers. So Panyo 3816 says he meant the 93. My buddy had one just sitting in the yard. They had the same engines and the holes attached to the motor. Okay, so you were going to swap the supercharger from the Super Coupe actually to the base 3.8 car. I imagine that would work. It would probably work out just fine. Okay, so guys, we're in this for an hour and 33 minutes. I'm not seeing any more comments. It was a really great live chat. I don't really do this all that much, and I know I hope I'm doing a good job for you guys, and I can answer your questions. I'm going to be at the track next week. We're going to try to get a better ET out of the car. We're probably going to the 8th mile track, and we're going to try. I'm getting the mile an hour out of the car. We're going to lower the tire pressures and try to get a good ET and try to get a better 60-foot time, because my best 60-foot time was a 1.8, and on that run I ran a 7:08, and I know that the car can do better than that. So that's where I'm headed with the car over the next couple of days. I got a couple more comments here. So let me see. Panyo 3816 says later we should all do it on Sundays or something. I decided to do this today on Saturday because there aren't a lot of live streams on Saturday, and I just figured, what the hell, if you guys are out there and you want to join me in a chat, I'll give it a shot, and I think it worked out pretty good. Stupid Fast Truck says it was a good time. Thanks, Al. thank you for coming in, bud. It's nice to have you here. I appreciate you watching my videos and commenting on the channel, and I really appreciate all you guys. You guys are great, and I really enjoy this. So Panio 3816 says, rated R, get Shelby Exotics, get us all in here. Shelby Exotics, that's sick. So the comments keep coming. Let me see. Monty 541 says, can remember when running low 13s was quick. That's right. My first Fox body was a black hatchback GT. It was an 82, the first year for that car. I modified that car with the 351, and on pump gas, I was able to go 12 seconds flat at 115 miles an hour, and that was like climbing Mount Everest. It was like a huge feat to be able to do that at that time. And I think that was somewhere around 1989 or 1990 that I did that. Today's cars are light years ahead of what we did back then. So Jeff Higgins says, great job. Thank you very much. Miles Hiles, great job. Thanks a lot, Miles. I appreciate that. Mustang 860, good night. It was nice to have you here. And I will mention the prednisone to the vet. Thank you very much. And we'll have Smokey at the vet in a couple of days. And if you want to see how Smokey is doing, go into my Facebook, Al Coyote Car Guy, and send me a friend request, and we'll get you on board. So Mike J, nice chatting with you too, bud. We'll see you next time. Okay, guys, it was a lot of fun. An hour and a half, I think, is a great chat. I appreciate it. I see there's 21 people in here still. If anybody has a question, wants to ask me about my car or the track times or my engine or some of the things, I have a video coming out. Hey, check it out. You know who just came into the house? Ant from Black Knight Mustang. If you guys don't know Ant, he's one of the coolest guys you'd ever meet. He's got Black Knight, and he's got another channel, Crimson Truck Pride 2. Ant's a hardworking guy. He's got a big rig. He travels all over the country hauling stuff around. Check him out. He's one of the coolest people that you'd ever want to meet. And Ant, it's nice to have you in here. Really appreciate it. Mustang 860, yes, sir. I talk to you on Facebook a lot. I recognize you. I appreciate all the conversation. It's all very good. Monty 540 says it's easy to make power these days. It absolutely is. Have you guys ever noticed the flow numbers on the cylinder heads of the new Coyotes? If I'm not mistaken, a Coyote cylinder head flows 300 CFM of air through the intake side at 500 lift. That is absolutely insane. In our days back at the Fox body times, back in the 80s, before all these AFR heads and stuff like that came out, I remember my first cylinder head that I bought for my Fox body was the AR Pro 1 head. And that was a head that delivered 200 CFM, I think, at 550 lift. And this was like the greatest and grandest thing that ever happened. And now we have our stock engines doing 300 or even more. It's insane, the amount of power that you can get just from that. And stupid fast truck, see, he knows that. You remember what it was like back then, right? We didn't have the hardware that we have now. So these engines are cranking some serious power because of this stuff. It's great. It's a great time to be alive. I say it all the time. So that's it, guys. I think we're gonna wrap this one up. It was nice to have all of you here. I'm gonna go to the drag strip again next Friday, and I'll have another live chat. I'll have some other videos up about it. And it was great talking to you all. So have a good night, and we'll catch you in the next one.